government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish.
Of the people, by the people, for the people.
And that government of the people, by the people, and for the people, shall not perish.
You know, it is,
from the earth.
it's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
Well, it's a marvelous night for a moon dance with the stars up above in your eyes. A fantabulous night to make romance neath the cover of October skies. You know the leaves on the trees are falling to the sound of the breezes that blow.
Afternoon, everybody. Chris McDonald, Mac Files, number 28, Monday afternoon, October the 17th. Just 24 days, my goodness, to the election of 2016 between Donald J. Trump and Hillary Rodham Clinton. I just can't help keep playing that tune because you'd be in jail. And we're going to talk about some stuff today that you're going to realize that you should be in jail, folks, and a lot of other people. And if these allegations are proven true about this FBI quid pro quo, it's going to change this election, I think. But I've been wrong before, but we'll just have to see. But we're going to be talking about that today. We're going to be talking about the media donation. Talk a little football from yesterday. Controversial ending in Seattle. But also I want to talk about the Bills game with the 49ers and what happened there with the return of Colin Kaepernick to the quarterbacking job. And the 49ers sucked with him behind the quarterback just like they sucked before. But they continue to disgrace themselves by allowing this jackanapes to do what he does on that sideline. We're going to have a few thoughts about that this afternoon too. But it's so good to have you on this Monday afternoon. We hope everybody's having a good day today. And we hope that you are enjoying. Man, what a beautiful moon last night. That's why we're playing Moon Dance by Van Morrison, one of our favorite artists through the years. And it was beautiful last night. And we'll be posting some pictures as we get them uploaded from our camera because we got a few shots of it last night. And I think we got one more night of the full moon, and then it'll be waning for the rest of the week. But anyway, it is a good night for a moon dance again, that is for sure. It is good to have you today on this Monday. We're going to get right into this, and we want to just chit-chat about a few things that has been going on over the weekend. As you know, Donald Trump has been at the source of a lot of controversy this past week with the video that got released last Friday, actually a week ago Friday. And that has sort of simmered down a little bit. But since that time, several women have come forward, and there's a lot of clamor about what he should be doing. I want to talk about that here at the beginning, my thoughts about that, and then we'll move on to something else. Folks, Donald Trump, honestly, is in a no-win situation with these allegations. He just isn't. You know, I've had a lot of friends tell me they just wish he would not respond to them. Which we all do, really. I mean, ultimately, he loses when he has to respond to him, and that's what Hillary knows. That's what the Clinton campaign knows, and the people that are pushing these narratives and coming up with this stuff, they know that. They know that every second that Donald Trump is not talking about the issues that affect us as Americans, he loses ground, he loses time, she runs the clock out. November the 8th will be here before we know it. And the people will vote, you know, on November the 8th, and they'll be voting more about this, you know, their thoughts about this video than they will the actual outcome of the election. First of all, let me just say this about the video itself and these women's allegations about Trump. All of these allegations, folks, are nearly 2 decades old. Most of them are 15, 20, 30 years in the past. None of these things that are coming forth right now that have to do with Donald Trump affect the nation. It does not. Nothing that is being said that Trump did or he said 20, 30 years ago has anything to do with the state of the country. The only people that are making a big issue about that are some evangelicals who are acting like a bunch of Pharisees and a bunch of self-righteous pompous asses who have taken the moral high ground like they've never heard this stuff before, and that, you know, and so forth. And I would just caution the evangelicals, and I would caution the Christians out there who are doing this. You better be daggone careful how you judge and how you throw stones at Donald Trump about things he's saying, because what you're saying in the dark may come to light too. And if you're squeaky clean and you've never uttered any kind of cuss word, or you've never uttered any kind of bad statement, or you never uttered anything ugly in private, and you don't want that to get out in public, then, you know, you keep throwing your stones and you keep acting like you're self-righteous and you've never done anything wrong. Folks, Jerry Falwell said it the other day. I applaud him. He said, we're all sinners. We all are sinners. Where none of us are perfect, no, not one. In addition to that, he said, unless we have Jesus Christ himself running for president, we're not going to get a president that's not without flaws and not without a past. We're going to play a video in a minute, and Lance Wallnall, who I've really have gotten to enjoy listening to his YouTube videos this past week, he's going to bring a comparison between Trump and Hillary Clinton, and we'll listen to that in a little bit, and we'll get to that in a moment. But my thoughts about Trump is he does need to stick with the issues as much as he possibly can. He needs to stay with the things that are going to affect the country. The border issue, the economics of the economy right now, Obamacare, the disastrous Obamacare rollout, and this continuation of people trickling out, the doctors coming out saying we're not going to continue to be in it, the lack of choices, the crumbling system to where skyrocketing premiums are crippling companies, and it's crippling us out here in America. And then you have these deductibles that are anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000. Folks, none of us can afford that. And it's the biggest insurance scheme and scam I've ever seen in my life. But yet, and even Bill Clinton, of all people, said the same thing last week. He said it's the craziest thing he'd ever seen. And if a liberal Democrat like Bill Clinton can say that, I mean, you pretty much know this thing sucks and it's bad. But again, I think it was the plan all along to put this on the American public and let it crumble like it's doing, to force the nation into a government-run healthcare system, which this lady on the left, on the right here on your screen, is going to push. We forget that we had Hillary Care, at least we almost had it, before we had Obamacare. And Hillary Care is going to be a government-run healthcare program that is going to be Obamacare on steroids. You trust me on this. And that's what's at stake in this election. Donald Trump needs to be talking about those things. He needs to be talking about the threat of ISIS. Iraq is going into Mosul today to try to root out the ISIS fighters there. We've had 3 separate incidents just this week alone where Iranian-backed Houthi missiles from Yemen have been fired at a U.S. Navy destroyer out in the Persian Gulf. And, you know, very little has been done by the Barack Obama administration about that, and very little will be done by that. And while I'm mentioning that, I want to just say something. I was reading on Twitter the other day, some nitwit got offended the other night during the debate when Donald Trump called Barack Obama, and he didn't say President Obama. And folks, let me just say this right now. To be honest with you, I believe we always need to respect the office of the presidency. We do. But when a man who is in the office of the president does not respect the office himself, he does not deserve any respect. And I have always felt that if the day that Barack Obama starts respecting the office that he holds, we out here in America will respect him. We'll always respect the office. But if he wants our respect as president, start acting like one and stop acting like the fool you've become and you've made us look in this nation for 8 years and drug us through the mud and drug this nation down to the point that we don't even recognize it anymore in this country. He has disgraced this office by the things that he has done. He has disgraced himself. He's disgraced the whole nation to the world. We are a laughingstock across the globe. And, you know, the media will try to paint it out that Trump is the one that is going to be a threat to our way of life. You know, the world leaders will hate him and they'll love Hillary. Folks, that is not so. The world right now looks at us and they mock us and they mock our lack of leadership. That starts at the resident at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. He's not respected the office. He don't deserve the respect of the people. The office always will be respected, but he himself does not deserve that respect. And this race baiting and this racial division, this insulting of Christians, this basically promoting a faith that is nothing but deadly and demonic and full of violence and hate toward any group that does not bow to it, and him promoting Islam and promoting the jihadists over the safety of nations and the safety of the nation, I should say, and us American citizens. No, he does not deserve our respect. The office does, but he does not. So when Donald Trump said Barack Obama the other night, didn't offend me a bit. Because, folks, when Barack Obama, as I said, it's a little too late to do it now. He's going to be out in 2 months. But, he's not respected the office in that year, so why should we start respecting him? And that's my take and thought on that. But Donald Trump needs to get back to the issues, folks. He needs to get back to doing what got him up in these polls. He's down a little bit in the polls. I still say it again. I'm going to say it today, just like I said it last week, and I've been preaching it for 3 weeks. We do not elect a president on October the 17th. We elect our president the first Tuesday of every month, or first Tuesday in November of every election year. This year, that is November the 8th. And, when we take that poll on November the 8th, that's the poll that we will consider to be the most important. I don't care if they say she's 70 points up, folks. It does not matter. The Brexit vote back in June, when the liberal press over in Britain wanted to convince the British people that everything was fine and for them not to go to the polls because the country at large didn't want Britain to leave the EU, they put out this poll that showed that 96.5% of all Britons believed that they should stay in the European Union. And only 3.7% or 3.5%, whatever the percentage was, wanted to leave. That was taken 3 days before the vote. 3 days, 72 hours. And with a resounding 65-35 tilt, the British people spoke during the poll, and they said, we're getting out. We're getting out of this mess called the European Union. So don't listen to any poll right now. Don't listen to anything the media is saying. Don't listen to these pundits. Don't listen to these people on television that act like they're experts. And folks, again, it pains me to say this a little bit, but it is the truth. I've just stopped watching Fox News as well. I can't stomach Fox no more than I can stomach the rest of them. They've got people on there that don't like Trump. They've made it clear from the beginning they don't like him. And they will slant and twist things to suit their needs and insult him and hurl insults while basically giving her a pass. There's only a few programs on there that has given Donald Trump a fair shake, and most of them are not even on Fox News. Most of them are on Fox Business. Stuart Varney is one. Lou Dobbs is another one. Sean Hannity is another one. Sean Hannity's ratings have tripled since the Trump campaign began going up against Hillary. He has overtaken Megyn Kelly's ratings. She was basically winning the nighttime ratings war between her, O'Reilly, and Hannity. O'Reilly was running second. Now Sean Hannity has overtaken that second spot behind O'Reilly, and he's threatening Bill in a way with the ratings. And I believe it will continue to be so, because when you turn Hannity on, Hannity is not a Trump basher. He's a supporter, which is fine. And I guess we Trump supporters, we like to hear that, and we do. But I wouldn't even care about listening to the network if they were fair to Trump. But a lot of these people are not fair. And they take any kind of little pot shot at him they can. And it's just, I've just turned it off. I don't even listen to it. And, if that's how Fox News wants to be, let them be that way. Because, they other than Catherine Herridge, I think she does a very good job of keeping the Clinton campaign to the fire about this email stuff we're going to talk about here in a minute. And but I'm just telling you, folks, don't listen to the media. Don't listen to this. We're going to show you something in a minute, read you a story about the donations that the media has made to the Trump campaign compared to the donations that they've made to the Clinton campaign. So it is so funny to, again, listen to what they've got to say and try to make you think that Hillary's 20 points up. She's not, folks. Basically, this race is a dead heat. And it's really amazing going into this final debate Wednesday night that it's even at that point with all the stuff that's been thrown at Trump. But my advice to the Donald Trump campaign today, if they are listening, which I know they're probably not, but if they are listening, stay on course. Stay on course. Stay on the issues. Stay focused. Don't let these little rabbit trails get you off message. He's the best he can be as a candidate when he's talking about the things that affect the nation, not the things that affect him personally. And look, I'm going to say this, and I told a friend this afternoon. I don't know what I would do if I was in his shoes. It's hard when they're coming at you with all these personal attacks, folks. It is. And I give him a lot of credit for not basically doing more than he's done. I know it's not easy watching yourself get lampooned on television. I know it's not easy having all these women come forward and claiming you groped them 20 years ago, and some of them you don't even remember, and you don't know who, some of them are not even telling the truth, some of them are just lying, and it's blatant that they're lying, and the media takes their water and they carry it when they don't carry the water for the Bill Clinton accusers. It is frustrating, and I can understand Donald Trump's issues with that, and I get it. But he's going to have to really get some tough skin here in these next 3 weeks, and he's going to have to realize that the country's at stake, and let Hillary play the dirt game. Let her get in the gutter, and he's got one more shot at her Wednesday night on public, and I think both of them are going to be given a pretty tough road, because Chris Wallace is not an easy moderator. He's going to be tough on both of them, but at least it should be a fairer shake for Trump than it was with the NBC moderator Lester Holt and the ABC and the CNN guy Anderson Cooper this last debate. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out, but that's Wednesday night. Okay, I want to change screens real quick. I need to move on here. I want to come over here, and I want to play something for you. I do want to play one clip that has nothing to do with the emails first. I want to play this clip from let me see if I can get this stopped here. I want to play this real quick for this is a interview that Stuart Varney did this morning with with Sheriff David Clark from Milwaukee. I used to live in Lexington, Kentucky years ago, and tragic shooting this weekend. 15-year-old daughter of Olympic star Tyson Gay got slaughtered, got basically gunned down in Lexington by 3 people. And Stuart Varney this morning interviewed David Clark, the great sheriff from Milwaukee. This is what David Clark has to say about the shooting, and it ties into Black Lives Matter. I want you to listen to this today. Listen to this.
Very historic, tragic, dreadful story for you. The teenage daughter of U.S. sprinter Tyson Gay, he was in the Olympics, was killed in a shooting in Kentucky, hit in the neck during an exchange of fire between 2 vehicles in a restaurant parking lot. Sheriff David Clark is here. My first question, Sheriff, is where is Black Lives Matter in this? Where is the president in this? Who's saying anything about this?
Where is the president and where is Black Lives Matter? Great question.
Well, nothing. This doesn't fit their ugly narrative. That's what this is about. But look, this is a daily occurrence in the American ghetto all across America. This weekend in the city of Chicago, between Friday evening and Sunday night, there were 31 shootings, 7 dead.
31 shootings, 7 dead just from Friday night to Monday.
My hometown, 9 shootings, 2 dead. But again, it doesn't fit the ugly narrative of the cop-hating slime Black Lives Matter, and that's why you don't hear anything about it. Look, this is tragic in and of itself, but just because these people are attached to somebody famous, my heart bleeds for that family of Tyson Gay, and then you look at Dwayne Wade, whose cousin was gunned down by 2 black criminals. It's a black-on-black crime that's a bigger threat in the American ghetto than any police officer will ever be.
We have this from the director of the FBI, James Comey. He thinks that there are people who think that police shootings are a national epidemic because, Comey says, they have no idea what they're talking about because there's currently no federal data to indicate whether it's really the case. Here's the quote. They've got no idea of whether the number of black people being shot by police is up, down, or sideways. The truth is, police officers are overwhelmingly good people. Well, we got that. But, Sheriff, is that an accurate statement from James Comey that there's no statistics? That's why we don't know really what's going on?
That's a ridiculous statement by Director Comey. Look, he doesn't have any credibility anymore after the way he handled that Hillary Clinton investigation. But look, for him to say that the reason why cops are under siege is because there's no federal data, that's laughable. This is an emotional argument. This is a political construct, this cop hating. There is plenty of data and plenty of research that goes against this false narrative painted about the American police officer, and it doesn't matter because when you throw logic up against an emotional argument, it's hard to fight. The propaganda, the myth about the behavior of law enforcement officers using force is what's ruling the day because the liberal mainstream media, not Fox News Channel, but the liberal mainstream media has shown sympathy for this ugly movement, and they have become the platform with which these myths and propagandas propaganda and lies are being told about the American police officer. It has nothing to do about the fact there's no federal data. And if there's no federal data, shame on James Comey and the FBI for not having any.
Fair point. Sheriff David Clark, thanks for joining us early this Monday morning. Appreciate it, sir. Thank you.
And that was a great interview from Stuart Varney with Sheriff Clark. And folks, what he's saying there is so true. That, who this FBI Comey guy, for him to dispute that, claim, and, he's got about as much credibility as Bozo the Clown right now. But I hope you listen to what Sheriff Clark said. 31 shootings, folks, in 3 days in Chicago, 7 dead in 72 hours. Not one word is coming out of the mouth of President Obama. Not one word out of Black Lives Matter. This sweet young lady right here, this 15-year-old girl that's the same age as my son, God bless her heart, God bless his family. They lost a daughter over the weekend to a brutal shooting, black-on-black crime in Lexington, Kentucky. Nothing is being said by Black Lives Matter and by President Obama. That should tell you everything you need to know about the validity of this movement. And I say this with a broken heart this afternoon, and my prayers go out to the Olympian Tyson Gay, the whole community up there in Lexington today. I used to live there. It's a good city, beautiful city, and tragedy. But I wanted to play that clip by Sheriff Clark and sort of put things in perspective for you. Now, I want to change course on you a little bit, because there's another developing story this afternoon, and I hope I've got the right file here that I just pulled up. But I want you to listen to this interview. This quote, Brett Baer is going to do this, and then we're going to talk about it. And then I'm going to play you a little interview from this afternoon from Catherine Heritage in the State Department. Listen to this.
The effort by a member of the Clinton State Department team.
This is bribery, folks. This is bribery.
Influenced the Bureau's investigation into her email scandal. Chief Intelligence Correspondent Catherine Heritage has the latest.
On Fox News Sunday, Hillary Clinton's running mate was pressed on new allegations involving State Department Executive Patrick Kennedy.
To your knowledge, did anyone associated with Secretary Clinton or her campaign ask or instruct Kennedy to seek changes to classification of emails?
Absolutely not. I have no knowledge that happened. Absolutely not.
Late Friday, the FBI sent a third batch of interviews from the Clinton investigation to the House Intelligence and Government Oversight Committees. Republican lawmakers briefed by staffers said Kennedy wanted the classification of at least one email changed in a way that would benefit the department as well as Clinton. And in exchange, there was discussion of more slots for FBI agents overseas. This is a flashing red light of potential criminality, Government Oversight Committee Chairman Jason Chaffetz said. Both myself and Chairman Devin Nunes of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence are infuriated by what we have heard. Campaigning in Kansas, Congressman Mike Pompeo told Fox by phone,
"It is so representative of the behavior we have seen consistently from the
just trying to clear my own
mind.
You are not
to protect not our American servicemen in the field, not American national security information, but Hillary Clinton."
A State Department spokesman said, "This allegation is inaccurate and does not align with the facts." But one of Kennedy's subordinates told the FBI in this heavily redacted interview released in September that he was pressuring State Department employees. Quote, Kennedy held a closed-door meeting with Redacted and Redacted, where Kennedy pointedly asked Redacted to change the FBI's classification determination regarding one of Clinton's emails.
Folks, that's criminality. That's criminality.
A State Department spokeswoman read from a prepared statement.
We strongly refute those claims. We've been clear all along that our Freedom of Information Act review of former Secretary Clinton's emails was a complex and multi-step process.
While acknowledging that Clinton email classification and overseas posts for FBI agents were discussed in the same phone call, a Bureau spokesman said the issues were not connected and the email classification was never changed. The new FBI files could be public as early as tomorrow when an independent review will be possible. Brett?
We'll follow this. Catherine, thank you.
All right, folks, that was yesterday. That was over the weekend, a Brett Baer interview with Catherine Heritage. Now, I want you to listen to this. This was just today during the State Department briefing. Catherine Heritage pressed the State Department on this very thing, and listen to how they responded to her question.
I'm just trying to clear my own mind. You are not to dispute the content of the FBI interviews, and I'm just trying to point out that these were two separate interviews with two different FBI officials. The State Department's position is that they're both wrong.
We dispute the assertion that there was any kind of quid pro quo involving the case of upgrading email in exchange for additional slots for FBI officials in Baghdad. We refute that assumption, or that allegation. I'm just saying, I don't want to get into like parsing out every 302 out there, but I'm saying essentially what I'm refuting.
I'm just trying to make the point that it's just not one person who says this happened. In fact, two FBI agents who say it happened.
I understand that, and again, I can't speak to why they said what they said, but I will refer everyone to the fact that the FBI, sorry, I'll get to you, did put out a statement over the weekend also saying there was no quid pro quo.
They say it didn't happen, but they acknowledge that there was a discussion of additional slots overseas in the same conversation of making revisions to the classification that would have benefited the State Department.
We can go back and forth, Catherine. I'm just saying, I'm just repeating myself, please.
Okay, and folks, I want you to listen. Did you see that exchange with her and him? See, he was parsing words, couldn't give her a yes or no answer. He just say we refute it. But again, these emails that are coming out by WikiLeaks are showing a pattern that there was pressure from the Clinton State Department and the Clinton campaign when this all began to blow up. And these emails began, and she kept running her mouth and kept lying and lying and lying. The stories got convoluted, and one little thing led to the other. And before you know it, it was a bomb that was going off in her campaign. It is growing evidence tonight that she was putting pressure on the FBI and giving money and gifts or whatever. It was a bribe or whatever you want to call it. It was a bribe for favors in the State Department for the FBI to change the classification status of those emails. And Kennedy, this assistant, was sort of at the heart of it. I want to read a tweet here that it says basically Kennedy asked his assistant to alter the email's classification in exchange for a gift. In other words, to convince the FBI to strip the classification on an email from Hillary Clinton's server. Now, this is from Fox News. I want to just read a little bit of this story here tonight and listen to this. This is pretty powerful. Senior State Department official proposed a quid pro quo to convince the FBI to strip the classification of an email from Hillary Clinton's server and repeatedly try to influence the Bureau's decision when his offer was denied, even taking his plea up the chain of command according to newly released FBI documents. Fox News first reported this over the weekend, like we just said, that the FBI interview summaries and notes known as 302s contain allegations of a quid pro quo. Republican Representative Jason Chaffetz, who initially told Fox News of the claim, said it a flashing red light of potential criminality. The documents produced Monday morning today confirmed the account. Notes from an interview with an unnamed FBI official revealed the State Department Undersecretary for Management Patrick Kennedy, a Clinton supporter and aide, tried to horse trade with the FBI, listen to this folks, offering additional slots for the Bureau overseas if they would declassify a particular email marked secret. Now, I'm just a South Georgia boy. I'm just an old country fella. But when you offer something for a favor to the FBI to change a classification on the email in the middle of a criminal investigation, that's called a bribe. That is bribery. That is corruption. That is criminality. And how many days has Hillary Clinton been in jail for this? None. Zilch. How many days will she spend in jail for this? Zilch. None. Because of the corruptness and the blatant criminality of our own justice system. And folks, it is a pathetic shame. It is a pathetic shame to see this go on. And, you know, again, I'm just a humble podcaster. I'm just a humble guy. I don't have a big audience like a lot of these other people do, but I'm lending my voice to this tonight, and I'm telling you, this is corruption at its worst. We're going to keep covering this week, up through the debate, through the rest of the week, but I wanted to just set the stage for this tonight and give you the basics of it. And I want to read this article a little bit more because there's some interesting things. Basically, what they did, they submitted a... When the FBI released their documents, they had marked out all the names of the people that Kennedy had mentioned in that in that discussion, basically redacting the agents' names who this was basically offered to. It was crazy. Basically, according to the documents, an unnamed individual said, quote, he was pressured to change the classified email to unclassified. Because, see, that's at the whole heart of this email discussion, folks. She's claiming that nothing that she sent out from that server was classified. And the less and less emails that are marked classified to unclassified, the more it fits her narrative. But when you start having people bribing the FBI to change those emails from classified to unclassified, you have got a good old-fashioned case of bribery. And that is illegal for those of you that don't know that. And I don't mean that to be ugly, but there are some folks out there who support her tonight that don't think there's anything wrong with that. But that will put you in federal prison for about 30 years, if not longer. And it's ridiculously bad, folks, that we got a presidential candidate running for president that is involved in this mess, but yet the only thing the mainstream media cares about is whether Donald Trump groped a woman 50 years ago. And that's all they've been talking about. It's pathetic. It is pathetic. This affects the country. This is national security. This goes to whether she would do something like that with national security secrets. What is she going to do? Offer a country a bribe if somebody pays her the right kind of money that she'll give them secrets? That's what this speaks to. That's what this speaks to. And it stinks to high heaven that nothing has been done about it and nothing will be done about it. But we're going to follow this story because I'm sure there's more to come tomorrow. As Catherine Harris said, there's going to be some more documents that's going to be released. And we'll see how that plays out. All right, I want to go change course again. Great interview here. Lance Wallnall put something out on YouTube yesterday over the weekend about Donald Trump, and I want us to listen to this because he basically draws a great comparison between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton and what he feels like last weekend's videotape really was about and why it was allowed to go on. And it's a great clip, and I really appreciated him releasing it, and I listened to it. I want to share it with you tonight on the Mac Files. Listen to this.
Hello, my friends. Greetings from Jerusalem. I am right here, where today in this beautiful setting of Jerusalem, not far from my hotel, there was a terrorist incident with 5 people shot, 2 killed. I am this day working with 30 diplomats at what I believe, an undisclosed location. And we're discussing the kingdom of God and various nations that are here, first ladies and diplomats and members of the House of Lords and stuff. And you would be excited to know how the kingdom is beginning to really take shape in the minds of Christians as we recognize the culture is deteriorating and collapsing all around us. This is interesting what's happening with Donald Trump, by the way.
Listen to this. Good stuff.
Well, here, the surfacing of this obnoxious videotape of his from 2004-2005. I want to ask you a question. Isn't it typical of religious people to read something that was written or said 10 years ago?
It is.
And miss God.
It is.
This isn't God exposing something. This is the devil strategically exposing information and
couldn't agree with him more.
Destroy a candidate. And who's dispensing this? The most phenomenal thing in the world is it's the very people that are some of the most corrupt politicians we've ever had in high office. But that's not the point. The point is, God is actually humbling Donald Trump. That should make you think.
I believe that.
I think God's going to do something very unusual.
I agree with that.
Because when God humbles someone, obviously it's so that the grace of God can perform an operation in us that produces the character of Christ. By humbling him, he is more qualified as a candidate than anyone else. I'm always amazed at how Christians kill their leaders. Don't you understand that after Peter fell, he was far more useful as a spokesman of the day of Pentecost? Donald Trump is in a process in this whole campaign. I've watched the anointing go to work in him. I've watched him have to deal with things. I've watched him have to grow and change. And now for the first time, apologizing, repenting, having to taste the bitterness of embarrassment and not being able to push back or punch his way back.
He can't, folks.
He's on the potter's wheel.
He can't punch back against this.
Godly rights and righteous Christians and puritanical, bush lovers, basically, in her case. Wake up and get out of your religious spirit. Somebody gave me a prophecy today from the States that there were spirits being dispatched to put blindfolds on the minds of Christians. We are so easy to manipulate. We're like bozos.
He's speaking to the evangelical community, and I hope you're listening tonight. I hope you're listening.
I said that Trump went through a metamorphosis. I had the year wrong. It was 2004, 2005, I said, began the new decade. When he started growing up, you won't find him. I don't think you're going to find a whole lot of stuff coming back for the last 5, 6, 7 years, because the man's been under a process of growing up for the office of what he's called a leader. Now, here's my final thought on this. I wrote a Facebook post, and I want you to read it today. It's from Gordon Pennington. And he lays it out pretty ruthlessly. He says, look, it appears we have two guns pointed at our heads. One is locked and loaded, and the other may represent a spin at Russian roulette. It's talking about Hillary and Trump. But the mathematical odds are clearly better. But there's more. Just follow along for 2 minutes here and consider a different angle with a biblical precedent. Donald Joseph Trump appears to be a loathsome, sexist, crude, loudmouth, narcissistic bully with a checkered and questionable past.
At times.
Yet he's not a criminal. And even a full roster of his alleged wrongdoings and misdeeds fails to compare to the Clinton legacy. The harsh, realpolitik implications of what's ahead will require tough decisions, especially to retain any hope of constructionist meddling and legislating from the bench and a constitutional quorum of the Supreme Court, meaning that there's going to be a rewriting of court laws that are going to affect the nature of your freedom as a Christian. Hillary Rodham Clinton
Listen,
has a 30-year
evangelicals,
track record
listen
of
good.
compromise, corruption, collusion, and contempt for law, and truth, and it comes with the incomparable baggage of a former president for a husband who brought unprecedented shame to the Oval Office of the White House under impeachment proceedings, and a track record of equally contemptuous behavior, not the least of which is known behavior as a sexual predator who, in facing multiple charges, was also accused of rape and settled out of court while he was disbarred from practicing law, even as he and his wife hustled hundreds of millions of dollars into their charitable foundation while serving their personal interests through a sophisticated global syndicate of influence for sale, and that's just the starter.
They will do it again if she's elected.
Is being faced with the bullying, manipulating, pressure of media mind control to judge a man who is being humbled for inappropriate carnal things. But yet he's repenting and changing and owning it. Have you seen any repentance and change and ownership at all?
Nope.
In the Clinton dynasty?
Not a
Has
word.
there been a moment of embarrassment and ownership and acknowledgement? None.
No, you have not.
Which is why
That is true.
I say this. God can do more with Samson than he can do with Jezebel.
It's a great
God
comparison.
can do more with a carnal prophet. God could anoint the jawbone of an ass and slay his enemies better than he could anoint Jezebel to advance his prophetic agenda. God never used Jezebel, but he did use Samson. And I think Donald Trump is like a Samson, and I think the jawbone of the ass is an appropriate word for what he's experiencing right now. And I think you better be careful how you touch the anointed vessel that God has sent, because if America rejects the vessel that God sent for deliverance, then instead of being a restoring of the walls and a forward movement for the body of Christ, we're going to end up in a rear guard action, and it's not going to be as pleasant. It's not going to be as good. It's going to be harder. And I pray that the American Christian doesn't fall prey to the blindfolds of Lucifer through the media mind control and personal attack on Trump. May God anoint him with the ability to credibly acknowledge his faults, such that he is able to deal with any further exposures that come out, any others that come out over the next 2 weeks. May there be a line between the man he was and the man he is, and may we all recognize that America is going to have to draw the same flippant line, because we all are in the same boat with Peter.
It's great.
Deny Christ, or Trump, who's got secret stuff that's coming out. The difference between Trump and Clinton, Trump's carnal. The other force, the progressive force, my friends, is demonic. There's no repentance coming on the other side. There is repentance with Trump. And you're going to see it, and you're watching it right now, because the man's being humbled. Well, that's my controversy.
Great video, and I encourage you to follow Lance on YouTube. He's got some other videos about the election that I would really encourage you to watch. Folks, that was powerful stuff. I don't have time to get into all of it, but I will agree with it. I may talk about it more tomorrow. But just remember what he said. One force may be carnal. Donald Trump's carnality has been on full display, but he's humbled himself. He went before the American public. Look, Franklin Graham even said it, that he feels that Donald Trump has taken accountability to his family, to himself, to the nation, and in his words, in his heart, that's all that he needed to do. Hillary Clinton has never taken accountability for anything. Her camp is out here denying this stuff tonight, that she's ever given any favors or her campaign did anything to influence the FBI, when the evidence is screaming that they have done that. And yet she will continue to lie and to lie and to lie and to lie between now and November the 8th. But yet the media displays the carnality, but they try to hide the demonic. Whatsoever is done in secret will always be brought to light. The darkness does not want to be exposed. It will do whatever it has to do to protect itself. That's what the media is doing. I'm going to just throw something at you. I got to talk a little bit sports and I'm going to get out of here. But we had a story on our East Tennessee Times website today, and I want to share this with you just real quick because it is amazing. The media this year, folks, just in this last 12 months, they have given nearly $400,000. The media people, different media people, have given $400,000 to the Clinton campaign. Get this. Only $14,000 has gone from the same media to Donald Trump's campaign. They interviewed 430 in the media who donated, and 430, they found out that 430 donated to Clinton, only 50 donated to Trump. 27-to-1 ratio between media outlets that favor her compared to favoring Trump. Some of you were shaking your head and saying, that's not news. You're right, it's not news. We already know it. But I'm just telling you, they're going to do whatever they can to not expose the darkness in her and do everything they can to expose the least little thing in Donald Trump. And I share Lance's prayer that Donald Trump will have the wisdom to handle it. And I go back to the original talking point at the beginning, folks. He needs to stay on target and stay on message, stay to the things that affect the country, and not chase these rabbits down the toilet. All right. Let me change screens one more time. Want to show you this play. My Falcons got robbed yesterday in Seattle. I'm very upset about it. 26-24. They lose the second game of the year. They're 4-2 now. But this was really the play of the game that a lot of Falcons fans today are upset about, and we should be. I think we got robbed. And watch Dan Quinn's reaction. You'll see that he thought we got robbed too. But it was a tough game. Even though we played well, I think we played better yesterday and losing in some games that we have winning. I don't believe in moral victories, but I believe yesterday showed that this team, if we'll get us a defense and tweak a few things, we've got a shot. I think we're a playoff team this year, even though our schedule is so brutal. I still think we can get into these playoffs this year if we'll keep playing offense. Watch this play, though, and I want you to watch Richard Sherman and what he does to Julio Jones' right hand as he goes to catch his pass from Matt Ryan on a 4th and 10 with about 25-30 seconds to go in the game as the Falcons are driving down to try to kick a game-winning field goal. Watch this. And there it is. But no pass interference call. No pass interference call on that. And there I'd be upset too, Dan. I'd have been kicked out of the football game there. I would have been kicked. I would have been gone. I would have been gone. It is clear as night and day, folks. Look at Richard Sherman's arm right there. He grabs Julio's other arm to keep him from catching the ball. That is as clear a pass interference as you could get. And exactly, Dan, I would be throwing that hat off. As I said, I'd have probably been having a stroke on the sidelines. That was a scumbag call by the ref. And I don't know what the hell he was looking at. I don't know what he was thinking he was looking at. But thank you, refs. You Seattle refs. Y'all should be proud of yourself because you basically gave the freaking Seahawks the game on that play last night. And yes, we did turn the ball over. We probably shouldn't have. I'm not saying that was all the only bad play, but that was definitely a game killer and a gut-wrenching call. So, you know, let the Seattle think they got away with one, but they did. Look at this right here again. He's pulling his arm right there. That is pass interference, folks. That's pass interference in the backyard of a freaking playground. That is ridiculous. Terrible call. Worst call of the year right there. Cost Falcons game 26-24. Let me mention one other thing. Let me get Julio over here. There was another game going on yesterday in Buffalo with the San Francisco I shouldn't say that. Oops, I was about to say something nasty. The San Francisco 49ers and the Buffalo Bills, and this is Mr. Colin Kaepernick. Mr. Kneebauer kneeler for the national anthem. And I just wanted you to see here, though, that it was not the only time that Colin was kneeling during the game, as Buffalo whipped the 49ers' ass 45-16. But this picture right here on the bottom, that's him before the game. And these other two pictures is him basically being on his backside most of the game. And all I can say, I want to just thank the Buffalo Bills for providing him a real reason to kneel yesterday in Buffalo, 45-16. And as far as I'm concerned, San Francisco 49ers, I hope you don't win another damn game for the next 5 years. I really don't. Y'all are 1-5, and I hope you go 1-15. Because you all are a disgrace for allowing this quarterback to do this. He would not do it if he was on my team or I own this team. He would not do this. He would not do this. I'm sorry. And he sure as hell wouldn't be playing for my football team. But y'all keep putting him out there, and let's keep having and hoping for scenes just like this with number 57 putting him on his backside. And that will show real oppression by America, Colin. I hope you enjoyed it yesterday, and I hope you enjoyed your 5 minutes in the sun. Way to go, Buffalo. Another quick sports note, Cubs down and Dodgers are tied 1-1. Indians up 2-0 on the Blue Jays. Pulling for those Cubs to go all the way. They're our AA club up here in Knoxville with the Tennessee Smokies. So we're definitely pulling for them to go all and take this World Series this year. It would be great to see Joe Madden and the gang do it. Jason Hayward, David Ross, Tommy LaStella, a few of the Braves on that team, and we're pulling for you guys. And I hope you can go out to LA and take control of this series again out there. And folks, that's going to do it for
it's just awfully good that
another Mac Files. But we got to listen again.
The temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
You'd be in jail, Hillary. You'd be in jail. You need to be in jail, Hillary. You really need to be in jail, Hillary. You need to be in jail. So before we go, one more time, let's hear it.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Quid.
And that's a wrap, folks. Mac Files, Monday night, October the 17th. Just 24 days before the election of Donald J. Trump and Hillary Rodham Clinton. One of these folks are going to take it. We hope you vote on November the 8th. Whatever you do, don't sit home. Go vote. Make your voice heard, America. The country's at stake, and you need to make it heard. Hope you had a great Mac Files with us tonight. We've enjoyed being with you. We'll see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Have a lot more to discuss. We're going to be following this FBI story. I'm sure there's going to be more developments overnight into tomorrow. And we've got some other things we're going to deal with. Next debate Wednesday night. Chris Wallace will be here covering it for you. And we hope you'll join us there. Have a great night, everybody. Godspeed. God bless. And God bless America. Be safe out there. We love you. Have a great night. See you tomorrow on the Mac Files.
Yeah, I know now the time is just right, and straight into my arms you will run. When you come, my heart will be waiting to make sure that you never run. There and then all my dreams will come true, dear. There and then I will
Government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish.
Of the people, by the people, for the people.
And that government of the people, by the people, and for the people
shall not perish from the earth.